everyone, it's Samantha from Scrapmaster's Paradise, and today I am doing my week number 11 project life. And actually I only have about a third of my pictures printed, even though I have a giant stack of pictures here. I just didn't go get more pictures printed, and this just cements the fact that I really need an at-home printer. I'm still planning on getting one of those soon. I haven't seen a good deal for one, and I haven't really saved up the money yet, so I'm just kind of waiting to save up the money. And I've found going and getting my pictures printed week to week is a little bit tedious. When I printed pictures last time, I was halfway through week number 11 in real time, so I went ahead and printed what pictures I did have, and I'm going to scrapbook those today. So in today's process video, you're going to see me using these cute little post-it notes to mark off where other pictures go, because I'm going to go ahead and scrapbook the whole week 11, then just add my photos in later. So you'll see a lot of blank spaces today. Also, for my week 11 tutorial, I am showing you how to write on your photos with faux overlays. So I've got these sunset pictures from one of our walks, and I wrote some words on there like a faux overlay. I wrote those right on the pictures, had them printed on the pictures, and I show you how to do that in my week number 11 tutorial, which I'll have on the blog tomorrow, and I'll link below so you guys can check that out if you're watching it later. I just really love the look of the overlays, and you can do them yourself using Photoshop. It's super easy, and I'll show you exactly how I did it coming up. I just have my pictures grouped for this layout, and then I have these pictures for a 12 by 12 coming up. This week I'm back at using my Project Life Planner. I didn't plan out the pictures on my page here, but all of my pictures are listed on my Project Life Planner. I have a tutorial on how to make this, and I have these printables available for 99 cents. I just wrote out a list of all the pictures so I can keep track. And this week I'm using a couple of different page protectors. I'm not sure which ones I'll end up using, but I pulled out a design W, and it's got 5 4x6s and 2 little 3x4 spots. And then I also pulled out this design Q, which came with my Just Add Color kit from HSN. It's got the 4x6s and then 3 4x4 spots down the middle. I also just grabbed the Just Add Color kit. Of course, I'm also going to be using my Studio Calico kit. I'm just going to go ahead and get started and speed it up for you guys while I listen to some music and get scrappy. So I actually have 2 tutorials for week 11, and the other one was making this paper template. And I decided to use the paper templates for filming and for planning out because I was having so much trouble rearranging things inside of the page protectors. I thought this would make it so much easier to rearrange things. So now I'm just looking through a bunch of different Project Life cards. First I pulled out the spring cards, and then I'm pulling out March add-on kits, and now I'm pulling out the actual March Studio Calico kit. I'm just looking for 2 cards to fill in those 2 spaces. This is the design W page with the 5 4x6s, and I pulled this page out because I had 5 of these sunset and bird pictures. So I was just looking through trying to find the right ones, and I ended up pulling out 2 of these. Now I'm just looking through embellishments on my Freckled Fawn kit for March, and I decided on the wood veneer and then the cloud with the 3 stars. And I'm just attaching all of this with Tombow multi-purpose adhesive. It's the one with the green cap, and I absolutely love it for small embellishments. So I'm calling that card done. I didn't do any writing on it since all these pictures go together. I just need one little section of writing, and I'm going to do it on this grayish black card. And to do the writing, I'm pulling out this permanent chalk marker from American Crafts. It came in one of my kits, and I absolutely love it. It works great on these darker papers, and it does give a chalky finish, so it's really pretty. I like how it looks, and I called this layout done. I just made it super simple, super easy, and I really wanted those photos with the words on them to stand out. So that is all for that page. Now I'm moving on. I'm going to be doing this on the other side of that design W, so I'm pulling out my pictures for the first part of the week. And I realized that these were the pictures from Monday, Tuesday, and those pictures of us walking were from, I think, Tuesday night. So I ended up having to switch the side of that layout. And I just pulled out a wood veneer from my collection. I showed you guys how to make this Dogs at Play card, I think last week, so I will link to that below too. I used my Silhouette Cameo for that, and I just wrote my journaling on there of the dogs playing and pointed down towards the dog picture and called that part done. And now I'm picking out cards for the other two spaces. I'm going to fill up both of these 4x6 spaces with cards. And I liked this big March card, and I'm picking out the week dates. I didn't know what dates I was dealing with right now, so I decided to pull out my sheet, and then I'm going to stamp inside each of the circles that are for this week. So it ends up being March 10th through the 16th. I'm just adding little stars to all of those days with some orange ink. I wanted to put week number 11 on a label shape, but none of the label shapes I had left matched, so I had to get a little bit creative. I decided to pull out a piece of cardstock, and I found this little 2014 wood veneer I decided to use as well. So I'm looking through my cardstock to try to find an orange piece to match that ink I used. I just cut it down. I'm going to add week number 11 and then put that 2014 wood veneer on this piece of paper as my little label shape. And now I'm pulling out some alphabets. The alphabets I had sitting out were pink, and I wanted some aqua or blue ones. So I pulled out these aqua ones. They're from an old Echo Park sticker sheet from a while back. I just pulled those out. If you want to see my mini alpha organization, I do have a video for that on my channel. I'll try to link to that below if I can find it. And then I'm just attaching all of this. I cut the little piece down to make it shorter. And I'm going to attach it with my tiny attacher. It's just a tiny stapler, and I love using it. And now I got to find a card for that middle section, and I had trouble matching up the middle section. First of all, Studio Calico kits don't come with very many 4x6 cards, and I've already pretty much used all of the 4x6 cards from the last few months worth of kits. So I had to go to other things after this. You'll see me pulling out whatever I have left from the previous months, but I ended up going to the Blush Edition Core kit to find one of these. And I used this same pack on some things coming up on other pages I've got for week 11. Usually I cut all this flipping through cards out of my videos, but it actually does take me a little bit of time sometimes to find the right cards for all these spots. So I just try to save time. I don't want you guys watching me flip through things every week. I think it's kind of boring, but I left it in here just to kind of show you guys. It does take me a while to find the cards. It's not always smooth sailing when I'm trying to find something. So I just left it in, and now I'm doing my journaling. I'm talking about our snack there with the sour worm things, and then we had nachos one night, and the actual stuff on the nachos is really healthy. There's lots of vegetables in there, but the chips itself wasn't so healthy. So I wrote about how it's good to splurge sometimes and have some candy and stuff, even though we are trying to eat healthy. And this was Monday, so I grabbed that week paper clip. I thought they were so cute, but I wanted the whole thing on there, so I decided to staple it on the front. And I think it looks really cute how it's stapled on there. And I just wanted to add something to that banner shape, so I pulled out one of these epoxy brads, which was also from the March Freckled Fawn kit, and I'm going to attach this. And the way I attach brads is I just cut a little slit using an X-Acto knife and then stick the brad in. And I just find it so much easier than trying to poke a hole through it. I use that X-Acto knife. So here, like I said, these were the first part of the week pictures, so I'm putting that on the front side of this page protector, and then my Born to Fly layout is going to be on the back side of that, since that was a little bit later in the week. I just had to move things around, and there are both sides. So now I'm switching gears and using a different page protector. I decided to pull out the Design A, so I'm using my Design A template that I had made up, and I'm just going to get my pictures arranged. And I ended up saving that organization photo with the pink bowls for the other side of this layout. And this is where I ran out of pictures, so I'm looking at my Project Life journal and writing down what photos I have in the right order so that I can stick them on my layout in a semi-chronological order. And that's why there's all the mustaches now instead of photos. Now I'm pulling out that Blush Edition Core kit again, and I'm going to fill in some of these 4x6 spaces. I decided to make some of these photos 4x4s, and of course the nail polish photo is a 3x4, so I do need something behind those. And that way I can do some journaling and some decorating even in some of those 4x6 spots. So this is going to be for that bottom left space, and I wanted to change it up and use something that said currently because it's a picture of green peppers, and I've been obsessing about green peppers, so I wanted something that said currently so I could put currently obsessed with green bell peppers, but it just did not work for me, so I ended up scratching that idea and going back to my original card. What I decided to do was just write out currently at the top of my page, just with some alphas. So I left that little space at the top so I could write out currently with some alphas and make it cute. And I just wrote about how I've been making my husband eat green peppers with pretty much every meal. Actually every dinner, but still, that's a lot of green peppers, but I'm still obsessing over them even a couple of weeks later. I've been having them a lot in our meals. They're just so good. So I use these small alphas. These are Studio Calico alphas, and they came in an add-on kit for March. So I just started from the last letter and worked to the front, just so I made sure I had enough room on there, and I'll probably make a 3x4 photo for this space. And I decided to add a little gray heart, kind of matched the gray and green on this card. And I put my post-it note there so I know what photo goes there, even though my journaling kind of explained it anyway. So for this one, I'm going to have a 4x4 photo, and I'm just writing the story in this little space. I felt like it needed something else just to decorate it, and I decided to use one of these Freckled Fawn stamps from the March kit and stamp this. And I think it says, "This was funny," or "It was funny," something like that. And so I'm using it, I'm going to cut it out and then just attach it with the tiny attacher. For that top left space, I'm keeping the photo to be a 4x6, but I wanted to do a little bit of journaling because we had some snow. And so I just wrote something like "Snow Day" on there, and I cut the label down so I can just attach that to the photo when I get the photo done. And I'm just looking for a 3x4. I decided to use this one, and I moved that photo over to kind of balance out the color a little bit. Since all the color seems to be on the right hand side of the layout, I moved that 3x4 to the left hand side. I'm just talking about these random snapshots of Emma throughout the week, and I grabbed some sequins from the March Studio Calico Project Life kit, and I'm attaching them. And I ended up having an issue with one of them sticking to my hand, and so I had to take that one off. It got glue on the front side of it, and I didn't want to use it. And I thought I had finished the whole layout, so I went ahead and grabbed my page protector and started sticking things in the page protector. And then I realized I hadn't done anything on that nail polish one at the bottom right corner, so I have to finish that one up too. I'm just going to attach this and then do a little bit of journaling, how I'm getting back into my nail polish. I took a break from nail polish for a while. I haven't been really using a lot of nail polish. And I grabbed another one of those epoxy brads and the X-Acto knife to cut the little slot, and then attached it. Now I'm just going to write about nail polish. This was just one of my favorite colors, and I talked about it in my March faves video a little while back. Called that one done, and now I'm moving on to the last page, which is going to be the other side of that design A. And I only have one photo. It's of me organizing with those new bowls that I got. And I'm just picking out cards. This is the March Studio Calico Project Life kit. I'm just deciding on cards, and I end up switching things out like I always do. I decided to pull out this one that has numbers 1 through 7 and write down our top 7 faves of the week. And these are events, these are different things. So of course there's green bell peppers on there. I also talked about we've been obsessing about a TV show, so I wrote that on there. And I've been organizing a lot. Some of the photos that are going to be taken and put on this layout later are organization photos, just me getting things organized in the house. So I was trying to think of the last thing that would be our top faves from the week. Then I'm going to rearrange these cards a bit. I decided to go with this green blue striped one, and I'm going to add a 2x2 photo on here. So I'm just writing about what's going to be on the photo. I called that one finished. Next I pulled out all these things from the March kit. I got the thickers and the labels, and I decided to use one of these labels for the little bowls that I had gotten. So I added my journaling, and I'm going to attach this to my photo with the tiny attacher. Just used one staple for that one. Now I'm going to rearrange things because I wasn't totally loving the color combo. I'm just adding the little post-its to where my photos should be so I can finish up this layout. I wasn't sure what photos would go on which pieces, so I'm just changing things around and getting all things organized along with my photos. So I'm going to have another 2x2 on this photo, and I wanted to write on here a little bit. And the bottom says "at the moment," so I made the top part say "loving these" because it's going to be a photo of some chips that we absolutely love. I picked up a few bags and we ended up eating them all in the same week. It was really, really bad. I thought they would last us a couple of weeks, but they did not. So I took a picture of those, and I'll pick some of those up in a couple of weeks. The next photo is going to be a 4x6 photo, so I just wanted a little bit of journaling with it. I grabbed another piece of the label, just cut off the little tabby part on the end that was left over, and put my journaling next to that. Grabbed my phone to see how many different sunset and walk pictures I had, because I had just written on my page that we took a walk. So I decided to use two different photos. I had a sunset photo and then a picture of the lake, and those are going to be right there, and they're both 4x6s as well. And I don't need to put any journaling on there because I've already talked about our lake photos on that top 7 list and also on the page 2 pages back. So those will be self-explanatory when you're looking through the album later. And I'm just sticking it all in, and I called it done. This layout ended up taking right at an hour to complete. Alright, that is it. So you can see I had most of my pictures at the beginning of the week, not so much at the end of the week, so I will fill in these photos when I get my next batch of pictures printed. I really like how this layout turned out. You can see there, that page is all finished. This page is all finished. And then here's where it starts getting messed up. So all the mustaches represent photos. And that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process video and it gave you some ideas. If you don't have your pictures printed, you still can do your project life and then just stick in your photos as you get them printed. Bob's singing a lot, but that's just a good way to go ahead and work on your project life even if you don't have your pictures and keep kind of up to date with it. So I hope you guys liked this. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos and check out my blog daily for projects and tutorials. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.